All right, let's unpack something truly fascinating today. Have you ever thought about like a multi-billion dollar market that's just booming right under our noses, driven by everything from, ancient remedies to modern wellness trends? Today we're taking a deep dive into the global herbal extract powder market. And our mission really isn't just to throw numbers at you, but to uncover the compelling story these figures tell about this industry's future right through 2033. This is all based on some pretty comprehensive market research. We want to understand what's truly shaping this vibrant landscape for you, our listener. So let's set the scale first. Big picture. In 2021, this market was valued at just shy of $4.8 billion globally. By 2025, it's projected to climb over $6.4 billion. But here's the really striking part. It's on track to nearly double again by 2033. We're talking over $11.5 billion. That represents a strong compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, pushing close to 7.7%. For listeners, that just means the market's growing by roughly 7.7% each year. It shows a sustained, almost exponential expansion.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is just how significant that growth is globally. It shows a really clear trajectory for the next decade. This isn't just, small steps. It's not just incremental growth. It's a profound expansion.
That's a powerful statement, profound expansion. What makes you say that? Is it just the sheer volume, or are there like underlying patterns in these numbers pointing to something bigger?
It's both, really. The volume is immense, yes, absolutely. But it's the consistency you see across different regions combined with these high-scaled. Well, that signals a foundational shift, a shift in consumer behavior. We're seeing a global embrace of natural health solutions that seems to be accelerating, year after year.
That's a great point. A foundational shift.
Okay.
So we've established this market is huge and it's growing fast. But where exactly is this growth happening, and what does that tell us about the global appetite for herbal extracts? Let's zoom in on the regions, starting with North America.
Good idea.
Okay, so North America was a significant player, over $1.3 billion back in 2021. And it's projected to more than double, hitting nearly $3.2 billion by 2033. That comes with a CAGR around 7%. Pretty solid. Now, within North America, the United States, as you might expect, leads in overall revenue. It hit over $1 billion in 2021, projected to reach more than $2.4 billion. But what's particularly interesting, I think, is seeing Canada and Mexico showing such dynamic, robust growth. They're both surging ahead. Impressive CAGRs there, close to 8% for Canada and 7.5% for Mexico. They're almost mirroring each other's expansion.
Yeah, it's clear that the demand for these natural wellness solutions is, well, it's deeply embedded in North America, and it seems to be broadening out beyond just the traditional hubs. Now, moving across the Atlantic, Europe presents a fascinating mix. Its market was about $900 million in 2021, projected to reach over $2 billion by 2033. That's a solid 7.1%, maybe 7.2% CAGR. Within Europe, you've got established markets like the UK and Germany showing strong, steady growth. Both are set to more than double their markets, over $200 million for the UK and $300 million for Germany, respectively, by 2033. But then you have countries like France and Italy really accelerating, kind of outpacing the others. They have notably higher CAGRs, around 8.4% for France and 7.7% for Italy. France, for example, is projected to nearly triple its market size. And you really shouldn't overlook the rest of Europe category either. That's seeing incredibly widespread adoption, growing at an impressive 8.5% annually.
That is quite a varied landscape across Europe. What do you think contributes to France and Italy's accelerated growth compared to, say, the UK or Germany? Is it cultural or maybe regulatory nuances at play?
Oh, absolutely. I think both factors are involved.
Yeah.
Both France and Italy have this long-standing cultural appreciation for botanicals, for traditional remedies. Perhaps it's more integrated into daily life than in some other European nations. Combine that with growing consumer awareness about natural ingredients and, well, possibly more supportive regulatory environments for herbal products in some cases. It seems to be really giving them an edge in this particular market.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Culture meets opportunity. Okay, next stop, Asia Pacific, which our research calls a fast-growing hub. And the numbers seem to back that up. This region was worth just over $1.9 billion in 2021, and it's expected to expand to nearly $4.8 billion by 2033. That reflects a very strong CAGR, over 8.1%.
Really strong, yeah.
Looking at specific countries here, China and Japan are leading the pack in total volume, right? Both set to more than double their markets, reaching over $1 billion each. But India is posting truly exceptional growth from just over $300 million in 2021 to over $850 million projected by 2033. That's a significant 9.1% CAGR.
Wow, 9.1%.
And Singapore. Singapore really stands out too with a remarkable 9.6% CAGR. It's increasing its market from about $67 million to nearly $200 million. We're also seeing, strong momentum in South Korea and right across Southeast Asia.
That Indian growth, the 9.1% CAGR you mentioned, it isn't just about numbers. It really speaks to, I think, a deep cultural affinity for traditional wellness like Ayurveda. Plus, you have a rapidly expanding middle class there and increasingly accessible natural health solutions. It's not just a market. It feels like a reflection of shifting consumer priorities in a massive population.
That's a great insight.
So yeah, it's really no surprise Asia-Pacific is such a fast-growing hub. This region is just a prime example of that booming wellness industry, particularly for natural solutions. And it's intertwined with strong cultural traditions that already embrace plant-based ingredients for health.
Makes sense. Okay, shifting gears now to South America. The market value there was about $324 million in 2021, and it's on track to reach over $867 million by 2033. That comes with a robust AGR pushing 8.8%, almost 9%.
Very strong.
Brazil leads this region in terms of size, growing its market from just over $112 million to nearly $300 million. But look at Argentina, it shows even faster growth. It's accelerating at a 9.5% CAGR.
9.5, wow.
Yeah, poised to nearly triple its market. And countries like Colombia and Peru are also seeing significant expansion. Plus, the rest of South America category is reaching over $328 million by 2033, showing really strong regional uptake overall.
What's fascinating in South America, I find, is the pace of adoption, especially in countries like Argentina, as you highlighted. This points to a growing awareness, a growing preference for natural remedies, perhaps driven by a blend of, traditional medicine practices and a modern push for preventative health. It's quite a dynamic landscape where consumers seem to be actively seeking alternatives.
Dynamic indeed. Okay, let's look at the Middle East now. Here, the market progresses from about $171 million to over $330 million by 2033. It's growing at a steady but maybe more moderate 5.2% CAGR. Saudi Arabia leads this region, projected to hit over $116 million by 2033. Turkey, UAE, and Egypt are falling behind. The UAE actually stands out a bit, growing at a solid 6.3% CAGR. What's your take on the Middle East's trajectory here? It seems to be growing, yes, but definitely at a slower pace than some other regions we've discussed.
That's right. The Middle East is definitely expanding. You see a rising focus on health and wellness, increasing disposable incomes. That helps. However, it's probably fair to say it's a more nascent market for herbal extracts compared to regions with those deeply established traditions like Asia or maybe the high awareness levels in North America. So the growth, while steady, maybe reflects an emerging interest rather than the kind of explosive demand we see elsewhere. Though countries like the UAE, as you noted, are certainly accelerating their adoption.
An emerging interest, that's a good way to put it.
And finally, Africa. Now, Africa emerges as one of the fastest growing regions globally.
Really?
Yes. Starting from about $85 million in 2021, it's projected to hit over $290 million by 2033. And this marks the highest CAGR globally at an impressive 11.3%.
Wow, over 11%.
11.3%. It's truly explosive growth. Nearly twice the global average CAGR we mentioned earlier. It just signals a rapidly accelerating demand across the continent. Both Nigeria and South Africa are posting strong growth rates too, each around 10.9%. But what's truly remarkable, I think, is the rest of Africa category. That reaches a staggering 11.78% CAGR, going from about $38 million to over $134 million by 2033.
Wow, Africa's numbers are truly remarkable. That 11.3% average CAGR is just, it's a huge leap. What do you think is driving such incredible momentum in that region? Are we seeing a different set of factors there, or is it like a supercharged version of the global trends we've been talking about?
I think it's very much a supercharged version of the global trends. Absolutely. You're seeing a rapidly expanding middle class in many areas, increasing urbanization. And then there's a strong cultural foundation of traditional medicine, which is now converging with a growing awareness of modern wellness trends. So the sheer market potential, combined with this desire for accessible and natural health solutions, it's creating this truly explosive demand across the continent. It points to a really significant future for herbal extracts there. So if we try to connect all this back to the bigger picture, it becomes pretty clear that this isn't just some niche market anymore, or even just a set of impressive numbers. This consistent, robust growth we're seeing across literally all continents is being driven by some powerful interconnected trends that are truly reshaping how we think about health and wellness globally.
Absolutely. So what does this all mean for you listening in? What's fueling this incredible expansion we've just heard about? From North America's strong base to Africa's, well, undeniable surge, our sources point to a few key drivers, and they echo what we've touched on. First, there's the undeniable increasing global demand for natural health solutions. People are actively seeking out alternatives or maybe complements to conventional medicine.
That's good.
Second, we're seeing a broad expansion of wellness industries as a whole. Think dietary supplements, functional foods, beverages, all incorporating these powerful plant-based ingredients. And finally, there's just a significant, undeniable shift toward plant-based ingredients in, well, nearly everything we consume. It signals a fundamental change in consumer preference towards nature-derived products. So, to kind of summarize what we've covered in this deep dive, it reveals that the global herbal extract powder market isn't just growing, it's experiencing this consistent, robust expansion across all continents. From Asia-Pacific's surge to Africa's exceptional momentum, the future of this market looks incredibly vibrant, incredibly expansive, and it's all driven by this global shift towards natural and plant-based wellness.
This, I think, raises an important question for you, our listener. As the world increasingly embraces these natural and plant-based solutions, and as these numbers continue to climb, how might this evolving landscape of health and wellness impact your own choices? And maybe think beyond that, how might it impact the broader global economy? Consider how these trends might influence industries far beyond just health supplements. Something to think about.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive today. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into a really interesting space where natural health meets modern wellness. We're talking about the herbal extract powder market. It's growing fast. Our goal here is to figure out why. Why are so many people turning to plant-based stuff now? We'll look at what's driving the growth, sure, but also the challenges, the tricky parts. And then the really exciting bit, what's new, what's coming next in this whole area. I mean, you see these powders everywhere. People think they're safe. Not many side effects, good for overall well-being. So they're popping up in supplements, food, even pharma.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to unpack. We'll give you hopefully some crucial insights into, what's really behind this shift, and maybe just as importantly, what you need to watch out for. So if you're interested in health, nutrition, or just how markets like this change so quickly, well, stick around.
Okay, we've set the scene. Let's dig in. What are the big reasons this market has gone from like a niche thing to pretty mainstream? The first thing that jumps out seems to be the whole nutraceutical and functional food boom.
Yeah, that's a huge one. It's fascinating because people aren't just looking for basic calories anymore, right? They want more from their food, functional benefits. So these herbal powders, they're now standard ingredients. You find them in smoothies, fortified drinks, protein powders, energy bars, all because they offer something extra. We're talking antioxidant properties, anti-inflammatory effects, and also those adaptogenic qualities, helping your body cope with stress. The key thing is we've moved past just wellness. Now it's about really specific bio-optimization. And herbal extracts, they're sort of nature's original bio-optimizers.
It's funny, isn't it? It feels like we're rediscovering things our grandparents might have known about, but maybe now with a bit more science involved sometimes. Because, yeah, modern science is starting to back some of this up, but it's not like this came out of nowhere. These ideas are rooted deep in traditional medicine, right? For centuries.
Oh, absolutely. That's a really crucial insight. You look at systems like Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine, even naturopathy, they've always embraced herbal extracts. And that long history, that sort of cultural stamp of approval, it really boosts their global profile and, importantly, their commercial success today. It's not just about the latest study. It's about trust built over generations.
Okay, so that's the growth side. But every market, especially one growing this fast, hits bumps in the road. Let's unpack this. What are the hurdles here? What challenges does this market face?
Right. Well, quality control is a big one, a really critical issue. We're talking contamination of the raw herbs, for instance. Plus, sourcing can be really inconsistent. Different climates, different soil, different harvesting methods, and that leads to a lack of standardization. It's not like making a drug in a lab where everything is controlled. So yeah, these issues directly hit product quality and, maybe even more importantly, consumer trust.
And I guess the science part is tricky too.
Definitely. There's often a lack of really extensive, rigorous scientific validation for many of these extracts. And that lack of hard proof, well, it limits how much they can be integrated into mainstream medicine, into pharmaceuticals, where that kind of data is absolutely essential.
Right, where the bar is incredibly high.
Exactly.
And, okay, say you've got a good product, standardized, maybe some decent studies. Getting it out there globally must be tough too. Regulations?
Oh, it's a minefield. Truly, regulatory compliance is incredibly complex because it varies so much from country to country, region to region. You face different approval processes, different rules about what you can claim on the label. It's a real headache for companies trying to sell internationally. Definitely not a straightforward path.
It's easy to get bogged down in the problems, but what's really striking is how this market keeps moving forward, keeps innovating despite all that. So let's shift to what's coming up. What's new and exciting? Here's where it gets really interesting.
Well, one really strong trend is the move towards sustainability, a big one. Consumers are actively looking for, even demanding, organic ingredients, ethically sourced, pesticide-free. This isn't just a small group anymore. It's becoming mainstream. People expect transparency. They want to see eco-certifications, fair trade practices. So being able to trace your ingredients right back to the source, that's becoming a huge differentiator for brands. It's almost like the ethics matter just as much as whether the product works. People want to know how and where it came from.
That makes sense. And are we also seeing things get more specific? Less general wellness, more targeted solutions? Tell us about these customized herbal blends.
Yes, exactly. That's another major trend. Instead of just a general health booster, you're seeing blends designed for very specific things like improving sleep or boosting metabolism, managing stress, helping digestion. And what's really cool is you have startups jumping into this space. They're using science to figure out combinations of plants that actually deliver those targeted benefits, like ancient wisdom meeting modern personalized science.
Fascinating. And it's not just stuff we swallow, right? These powders are showing up in skincare too, bringing the garden to the bathroom counter, so to speak.
Absolutely. That's another growing area. You're seeing herbs like tulsi, which is known for purifying, or neem with its antibacterial properties, and of course aloe vera for soothing the skin. They're being formulated into creams, serums, masks, especially by clean beauty brands. They're tapping into that demand for natural, vegan, gentle on the skin options. It really shows how people want natural effectiveness in, well, pretty much all parts of their lives now.
Wow. Okay. We've covered a lot of ground today, from, the big drivers pushing this market forward to the real challenges it has to navigate. And then looking ahead at these super interesting trends, personalization, sustainability, even beauty, it points towards a really nature-focused future for well-being.
So yeah, what does it all mean for you, the listener?
I think it's about seeing how we're constantly evolving the way we use natural solutions in our modern lives. Whether it's in your daily supplement, the food you eat, or, yes, even your face cream. These plant-based extracts are clearly here to stay, and they're going to keep changing, driven by what consumers want and what science can prove.
Definitely. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Consider that balance. How do we best blend that deep traditional knowledge with hard, modern scientific evidence? That balancing act is really going to shape personalized wellness going forward. And also keep an eye on how your demands as a consumer for transparency, for sustainability, how that continues to push innovation in this herbal extract market. It's driving change that's as much about ethics as it is about feeling better.